we are pleased, under the circumstances, to be joined by Barbra Walters of ABC News, formerly of NBC News. Can you put Tim Russert in some sort of perspective in terms of our collective business?
If I can get over my shock and grief of this, I'd like to talk, Keith, not just of what he meant to us as journalists, because I think he made us all proud, and he was enormously generous. I was just with Tim a month ago when he interviewed me for his own one-hour program, and his generosity towards me and to all journalists is something that we treasure. But I want to talk about the country, because the shock of people, of Americans, as they hear this, because Tim, for us, yes, he was a friend and a journalist, but for this country, this is a man they came to know so well, and I think that the grief this country is going to face is, well, perhaps similar to what we felt when Peter Jennings died, such an untimely death, just 3 years ago, also in the summer. And it's not us. We will grieve, and we know what he meant to journalism. But also to this country, this is a man that they respected. Nobody knew what his political opinions were. But it's not just that he made us proud. He was a friend to millions of people. And I think you're going to have a nation that is as sad about him as they would be if it were, almost any political figure. He was respected and admired and loved.
And perhaps almost any family member. It was that close a relationship, as we've heard time and time again in telling stories. Chuck Todd told this story. Just walk through an airport with Tim Russert, and that impact, that connection to people was overwhelming, because they came up and talked to him as if addressing a friend, as if addressing someone.
Hi, Tim. Yeah. And when his book about his father came out, I mean, Tim, I wrote a memoir. Well, Tim could have done a whole memoir. He didn't. He wrote about his father, Big Russ, and me, and on our interview we talked about our parents, and he spoke of his admiration and his love of his son Luke, and of course Maureen Orth, his wife, is herself such a respected journalist. But I'm stuttering not only at my own grief and loss, but of what this is going to mean for this country. I can't imagine someone who touched the hearts of as many people. Journalism is not in the highest regard everywhere in this nation, as we know, but if it is in high regard at all, it's because of someone like Tim.
What would you think would be the inspiration to try to explain to up-and-coming journalists, to people in the public eye, what credo of the career and life of Tim Russert could we take and perhaps improve everyone's work, from someone just starting in this business today to either you or I?
Broad-mindedness, homework. Couldn't watch those programs ever without noticing and remarking on the kind of homework he did. Objectivity. I mean, I don't know what his political beliefs were, and I don't think most people did. And the fact that he was tireless. We worry now, and maybe we blame this whole business. Was he too tired? Did he travel too much? Was there stress? Is this business in its own way a killer? And we worry that Tim, not that I think that this brings on a heart attack, but we worry about the kind of stress and strain. But just if you want an example of a man who took his work seriously and his family seriously and was a friend to other journalists and to this country, well, that person is Tim Russert.
Barbra, how would you have stopped him? How would you have been able to slow him down, even if there was some cause and effect available to him?
I'm sure Maureen tried to at times. This was his life, and especially now. especially now. I mean, he was this whole year. I mean, he's been on MSNBC, and when he's not on MSNBC, he's on the Today Show. And when he's not on the Today Show, he's doing Meet the Press. And when he's not on Meet the Press, he's doing his own one-hour program. He loved it. You couldn't have slowed him down, and I don't think that this is, I'm not a doctor. I don't think that this is what caused the attack. But he loved what he did, and somewhere he's saying, oh, Don, why couldn't it have happened after the election, if ever? But if I'm babbling, it's because all of us are just in such shock. This healthy, smiling, brilliant, good-natured, superb journalist.
The term that was used earlier by Andrea Mitchell was player coach. It's a sports term. It's a rare thing, or player manager. A fellow who is both running the operation and is also out there on the field in some vital role. They don't let many people try it anymore because it's so taxing in so many respects. But I guess to some degree, was this true of him even outside of those of us at NBC News? Did you see this for the? I don't want to overdo this, but in some sense of the business.
I can't, just off the top of my head, I can't think of correspondents who are also the head of the news bureau. Tim was. And by the way, Tim was not a pretty face. I mean, he has a wonderful face and that big grin. But, this is not the, when you make fun of those of us in the business, well, so-and-so got it because he just looks the part. Tim did not look the part. But this is a man who not only ran that whole bureau, that means that he had to be tough sometimes with correspondence. That means he had to hire and fire. And at the same time, he had to do his homework and prepare for not just Meet the Press, but for all of the appearances and for a one-hour interview that he did every week. I don't know how he did it, but if you want to have an example, any of us, an example of someone we can all be so proud of, it's Tim Russert. And I tell you, this country will be in deep mourning, and there aren't too many journalists they're going to mourn for.